Hello and welcome back. Today I'm checking out a budget IEM to see if the new Zero Bluetooth is the new budget king of IEM. Will it be any good? So let's check it out. So this here is the latest collaboration between Truthear as well as Critical, and this is their Zero Bluetooth, which is also a follow-up from their Zero, the original one. And let's see whether this is any good. So what I love about this earbuds is that Truthear does give you a separate 5 ohms impedance dongle that you can see here, and it says bass plus as well, which physically tunes the earbuds to sound a lot more warmer and slightly bassier. It's not something subtle because once you plug this in, you literally get a different sound signature, which is really awesome. And with that said, I think the sound quality here is really commendable, especially for its price point that is not too expensive, and you're going to get something quite enjoyable, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. I also like the fact that you're getting 7 pairs of ear tips to choose from, and Truthear gives you 3 silicone ones as well as 4 foam tips for you to test and find out what suits you best, which is great for flexibility. And personally, I find that with this IEM, you really need to use the foam ones. So another good thing is that you also get a carrying case with this, which is a small faux leather kind of case. It's just the right size to store the earbuds and its accessories, and in front here you're gonna get the Truthear branding, and it opens up like that. So it opens up like a pouch so you can just fit your earbuds inside. So personally for me, the comfort of this IEM feels great, and this is actually improved from the original Zero earbuds, now coming with a narrower ear guides in front here. And I read that some people will find it uncomfortable from these earbuds, but personally maybe I'm blessed with more generic ear canals, and I find the Zero Bluetooth feels very comfortable and sits in my ears very well with very little pressure. Also, another thing that I like about the sound signature here is its deeper and wider soundstage, and if you use the Bass Plus dongle, you get a very warm sound signature. So one thing that you need to take note is also in the sound signature area, and as much as I like the impedance adapter, I think it gives flexibility to its listeners. However, my personal preference is still not to use it. Well, maybe it's just me, but I think it does make audio, especially the mids, a little muffled and muddy. It's not horrible, but it has that tendency which may not be for everyone. I personally like a sound signature, especially for high-res IEMs, to have a more natural, balanced sounding signature, less warm, more brightness. But again, this is totally personal, and I've let a few friends test it out and I got mixed results. Some swear by having the adapter in it, and some really don't like it, so it really boils down to personal preference. So another area that I think can be improved is also the cables, and although it comes with a decently thick cable, and Truthear says that this is a 2-strand 294 core silver plated cable, I do feel that the top of this cable, especially near the 2-pin ports here, can feel a little bit fragile, and I know it's probably maybe my user problem, but I had a hard time trying to put these pins into and trying not to break it as well. So before we get into that, price-wise, I think these are really good budget-friendly earbuds that I personally think it's a good entry point to many of your IEM world, coming in at only $65 US or about 288 Malaysia ringgit for the model without the mic. And if you pay $70 US or 310 Malaysia ringgits for the model with the mic, then which I think is also well justified, especially with the sound quality. So if you find value in what you hear and like what you see so far, do subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so the YouTube algorithm can pick this up. And if you want to buy this IEM, just do check out my links below. So out of the box, the earbuds comes with a standard 3.5mm auxiliary jack. There isn't any adapter or modular feature for you to swap out the ports or something, so when you buy this, you're gonna get one jack and that's pretty much it. So these earbuds also comes with a very nice dual dynamic driver, a 10mm dynamic driver to drive the bass frequencies, and because of that, there are some criticisms in the bass department with these earbuds, and you also get a 7.8mm driver that handles everything else. So the earbuds comes with a 5.8 ohms impedance out of the box before you add the impedance adapter. And finally, the earbuds gets a THD of less than 0.3%, which is decent but not the lowest. But in actual practice, you're not going to hear much of a difference between this versus an earbuds with 0.00001% THD. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the exciting part, which is the sound signature. And I mean, you can really be critical with the sound signature here, but then again, these are just 60-70 bucks earbuds, and for what it's worth, I think it does a great job, especially with them throwing in a free impedance adapter that boosts the bass. So on the bass front, the Zero Bluetooth has pretty controlled bass performance, and from my test, the bass is decent and not too thick, but from a typical IEM standpoint, you can classify this as a warmer, more bassier sound signature signature, so you might like it or you might not. Depending on the type of sound signature that you're looking for, this might not be for everyone, and for a mid-vocals perspective, I think they are decently good with a slight recess. It's not forward or middle plane, and because of its warmer nature, I feel that the bass might have eaten into the mids a little bit. It's not terrible, but ultimately it feels like a mid V-shaped earbuds. So highs are okay with good clear resolution. I wish it would be a little bit more defined, but from the sound of it, it could really use a little bit more tightening up. Don't get me wrong, it's still sharp and clear, but it just sounds like it could be a little bit brighter. Overall, the soundstage is decent without the feeling of a overly wide soundstage, so there's no hollowness to it, and this IEM does feel like it's a little bit inside your head since they are not very open style, and if you're looking for something with that wider open free soundstage, then this may not be it. So let's talk a little bit about the design that you get with this. And at this price point, you're not going to see any premium materials and build here. There's no aluminium alloy CNC here, but what you get here is mainly a basic resin build. So the good news here is that it's still pretty handsome looking earbuds, and the faceplate here, you get this nice wing textured design that looks really good, and this is also on their Project Red as well as their Zero, the original one. So depending on how the light hits it, I do see a shimmer of like purple or blue in different colors, so that's pretty nice. So on the side here, I do see a branding with the Truthear here, and I don't see any clinical branding on the earbuds here, but the font that you get here does look very nice, and everything else from the shell and the ear guides are using the same resin material. So here you can also pick and choose from 7 different types of ear tips that Truthear provides you. You get both silicone as well as foam to choose from. So the cables you get here is decent, not the best quality if you ask me, but it looks substantial enough and looks beefy enough and good. Especially that black twist that you get here does give a handsome look, and you also get to opt this with or without a mic. And at the bottom here, you're going to get your gold-plated 3.5mm jack, and on top of that, I've also mentioned Truthear is going to give you an impedance adapter that you can just plug it in, and the existing 3.5mm jack to increase the bass resonance as well. So I also want to talk a little bit about the case that you get here. Yes, it's a very soft and smooth faux leather case, but it's not the most rigid. As you can see, it's just a very soft piece of leather, and if you put your earbuds inside, and because it uses these tabs, so when you try to close it, there's no weight to it, so you have to press onto the earbuds inside or the cables, which doesn't feel nice. So you actually gotta find a way to snap it together to close. So well, it's still a free case, so I'm not complaining. So all in all, for the price that you're paying for these earbuds, it's really nothing too much to fault. It's really cheap, and it's an entry into your first IEMs. Are there different options out there in the market at this price point? Definitely. I'm just saying that this is one that you might consider. And if you want to also check out another option for an IEM, the Moondrop Cadence right over here is also a good option. Or you might also want to check out the latest video right over here. And I'll see you over at those videos.